Hello friends, I am thankful to the GMERS at Morbi. They gave me an opportunity today to speak to the first year MBBS students. The topic was AI and ML for the beginners. Morbi is known for resilience. In medicine, resilience means adapting to disruption. AI is not the storm, it's the compass. Let's learn how to use it. Please go ahead and listen to this podcast, which is a discussion between two AI avatars about the content that was delivered by me at the college. Thank you.
Okay, let's dig into this. We often hear about artificial intelligence, like it's just better than us, faster, smarter, never gets tired. But the stuff we looked at, it kind of flips that idea. It suggests if AI looks better, maybe it's because the human intelligence hasn't been, properly trained or pointed in the right direction.
Exactly. And that really changes the whole game, doesn't it? It stops being human versus AI. Suddenly it's human with AI. So our mission here really is to get a handle on how AI works, how it learns, and maybe most importantly, figure out where we still have the edge. With things like empathy, social skills, our unique human stuff.
Yeah, I like that framing much better. It's
Yeah.
not this scary competitor. It's more like having a really, really good co-pilot, someone who takes care of the heavy lifting, the mental grunt work, so you can focus on the bigger picture, the actual strategy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get under the hood then. When I'm, say, scrolling through Netflix or shopping online, how is the AI actually learning what I like? How does it give me those recommendations that are sometimes, spookily accurate?
Right. Well, the core engine behind a lot of that is basically pattern matching. It's a type of machine learning. It's not magic, really. It's just watching. Watching what you click on, what you watch, what you ignore. And over time, it builds up this sort of digital picture of you, your persona.
Like a super observant shop assistant who never forgets anything. Sometimes it works a bit too well, maybe. I look for hiking boots once, and now everything is ads for Everest expeditions. I just needed walking shoes.
Yeah, that's the pattern matching doing its job, but maybe missing a little bit of the nuance, the context. But that personal touch is what makes tools like Copilot or ChatGPT or Gemini potentially so useful. The source material really highlights this idea that the tool becomes yours over time. It learns your style, your needs.
Yeah.
And that takes time. We're talking 18 months or more mentioned in the sources.
Wow, 18 months. That really drives home the point that it's not plug and play. You actually have to, train your co-pilot. If you don't guide it, you just get generic stuff back.
Right.
Which kind of defeats the whole purpose.
Precisely. You have to be explicit. If you need help writing something, you can't just say write an email. You need to tell it, okay, I'm talking to first-year med students here. They don't know anything about cardiology yet. That's the direction. That human input is what helps the AI filter the information and make it relevant. Otherwise, yeah, it might be technically right, but useless for your audience.
Okay, so that focus on specific instructions on relevance. That sounds like we're moving beyond just general AI. Is this where generative AI or Gen AI comes in? Applying AI to really specific fields?
Yes, exactly. Gen AI is more like the application layer. You start with an algorithm. That algorithm forms the basis of a specific model, say an insurance model or one for analyzing medical images. And then that model needs the right food, which is the training data, lots of it, and hopefully good quality data specific to that field.
Got it. Algorithm, model, data. So once you have those pieces, how do you actually teach the model? How do you make sure it learns correctly and doesn't just go off the rails with bad info or bias? The sources had some great analogies for the two main ways.
All right, it really comes down to oversight. The first method is supervised learning. Think of it like this. You give the machine its textbook, that's the training data, but you also assign it a dedicated tutor. A human trainer is there, every day, correcting its homework, giving feedback, pointing out important things, providing real-world examples. It's this constant feedback loop.
Okay, a feedback loop.
Yeah.
And that constant checking, that human touch, what does that actually do for the results? How accurate does it
Well,
get?
that's where you get those really impressive numbers. Because you're constantly correcting tiny errors before they build up. You minimize bias creeping in. That daily interaction, that refinement, it can lead to accuracy rates up to, 99.999% in some cases. It's incredibly precise because of that human guidance.
Wow, 99.999%. Okay, so that's supervised.
Yeah.
Daily tutoring, constant correction. What's the other way? Unsupervised learning.
That's more like, okay, here's the entire library on, say, Monday morning. Come back next Monday and tell me everything important you found. You just give it the data and let it run. There's no tutor, no daily check-ins, no immediate feedback while it's learning. The machine finds patterns on its own, which can be useful for exploring data for sure, but
Mm.
it's much more likely to pick up weird biases or make subtle mistakes if the original data wasn't absolutely perfect. There's no one there to course correct it in real time.
Right. So the big takeaway here seems to be that feedback loop, that human involvement is what keeps it on track, makes it less biased, and actually improves the output over time. We're constantly tuning in.
Exactly. The human is the quality control.
Okay, so let's pivot a bit. This kind of speed, this level of accuracy, it's obviously going to shake things up. AI is a disruption, right? Like a huge force changing how things are done. We saw disruption with COVID. It was tough, but it forced changes, like making remote work actually function. AI feels like that, but for, well, almost everything professional.
It absolutely is, and its power really shines in areas dealing with just massive amounts of structured data. Medicine is a prime example. Think about radiology, oncology,
Yeah.
pathology. These fields are built on analyzing images, reports, data points, thousands of them. AI is changing them fundamentally right now.
And the speed difference is just mind-boggling. A human doctor reads one X-ray, one slide using their experience. But the AI, it can scan, hundreds of thousands of images from all over the world in basically no time, spotting things a human might miss or take ages to find.
Instantly, it draws on a global library of cases, essentially. And this leads us straight to that really difficult question for professionals, doesn't it? If an AI can read that X-ray with 99.999% accuracy and give you the diagnosis almost immediately, what's the unique value the human expert brings? Why do we still need the radiologist?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question.
And the answer, I think, lies beyond the data itself. Machines think in binary, zeros and ones, black and white, but the human brain. We live in the gray area. We understand complexity, nuance, emotions, things that aren't easily quantifiable.
Okay. But isn't there a danger that AI learns the gray area too? I mean, some of these new chatbots, they're getting pretty good at sounding empathetic, right? Using the right words.
They can mimic the language, yes. They can learn the patterns of empathetic conversation, but they don't have true exposure. Exposure, in this sense, means the ability to see the whole picture, to connect dots from different unrelated areas of experience, that broad, almost intuitive understanding.
Can you give an example? What does that exposure look like in practice?
Okay, let's go back to the doctor. An AI sees a child's X-ray, identifies a fractured femur, perfect diagnosis technically, but the human doctor sees the fracture and they see the anxious parent. They remember the child has severe asthma, which changes treatment options. They might pick up on subtle cues about the family's situation. Maybe there are other stresses involved.
Right, and all that context completely changes the conversation, how you deliver the news, what advice you give, the empathy piece. The AI could probably pull up facts about asthma if you ask it, but it can't navigate that complex human interaction, that fear or stress.
Exactly. It lacks that genuine emotional connection and the ability to synthesize all those non-medical factors. And that's why the sources really push this idea that we need more than just raw intelligence now. It's not just IQ, the intelligence quotient. We need EQ, emotional quotient, and SQ, social quotient, to really thrive alongside AI.
IQ, EQ, SQ. That's a powerful framework.
Yeah.
For someone listening, how do EQ and SQ translate into, staying relevant? How do they help you work with the machine effectively?
Well, EQ and SESQ are what let you manage the interface, really, both with the technology and the people involved. EQ helps you understand the human impact, the patient's fear, the client's anxiety behind the financial data. SQ is about communication. How do you take that incredibly accurate but maybe very dense AI output and explain it effectively in a way that considers cultural background, family dynamics, the human context? It's turning that 99.999% accurate data into something truly useful and human.
That makes sense. And we also have to touch on that oversight role again. We mentioned flawed training data. If the data you feed the AI is bad or biased, that accuracy number doesn't mean much, does it?
Not at all. Bias comes directly from the data or the assumptions made during training. It's a human problem, fundamentally. That's why human oversight, that feedback loop we talked about, is absolutely critical. It's the only way to catch and correct that bias before it gets amplified by the machine. So the responsibility on us as professionals is huge. We need to be constantly learning, unlearning, and relearning. We have to adapt with the AI, not fight against it.
Okay, so it really comes back to finding that balance then. AI gives us incredible power, speed, efficiency with data. But human intelligence, using that mix of IQ, EQ, and SQ, provides the context, the ethics, the empathy. the responsible application of that power.
Precisely. Which leaves you, the listener, with a really interesting challenge, I think. If AI is going to become the super specialist in every single field, radiology, finance, analysis, you name it, then maybe the human role becomes something different. Maybe the human needs to excel at being the generalist, the one who connects the dots between all the AI specialists, the one who understands the emotional context, asks the right questions to guide the AI, and makes the final human judgment call. Finding that balance, managing that immense power with unwavering human responsibility, that's probably going to be your most critical skill going forward.